You clicked on this video because you feel like you're editing slower than you could be. These 5 methods that I'm gonna show you help me edit client videos in half the time I used to. So if you don't want to waste countless hours on staring at your computer screen, watch this video. Oh yeah, and also I just opened a completely free Discord server for editors. Nothing fancy, no selling anything, just a room for people that are in the same space. So if you want to come and hang out, links in the description. Let's jump straight in with the first method. Shortcuts. Now, shortcuts are really important when it comes to editing. It might seem like it's not that important, but as you edit more and more, you're gonna waste much more time each time you're not using shortcuts. So basically, in other words, if you're not using shortcuts, you're gonna waste hours of your time on a longer scale that you could have used to hit the casino, for example. I'm kidding, of course. Now, this video that you see in my timeline is just an example video. It's a video I posted as my last video, but it's just gonna be here for the demonstration of this first method. So the biggest one I know is that the way people cut is by going here on the left side to this sidebar where you can see all different options, and they choose this razor tool and then they cut like this, and then they move each part back and forth, and it just wastes so much of your time that you're literally not worth doing this job at all if you're gonna keep doing it like this. Honestly, that's when shortcuts come into play. You're gonna go up here to Premiere Pro and you're gonna click on keyboard shortcuts. Now I'm using a Mac, and for those of you that are using a PC, it should be somewhere up here as well. I'm not sure exactly where, but I'm gonna put it on screen somewhere so you don't feel left out. And now we're in the keyboard shortcuts menu, and as you can see, there's plenty of keys that you can tie your action to actually make a shortcut. Instead of having to do all of the previous things that I showed you, you can actually cut with one single key on the keyboard. Now, I'm not gonna go too detailed into each method. My job here is to point them out to you, but if you really want to dig deeper into each one, you're gonna do it on your own, or you can comment down below and I might make a video about it later on. For example, if you search add edit, and I don't know why it's called like this, but add edit means cut. So I put my cut to the S tool. That's just the way I'm used to it. Before Premiere Pro, I used to edit on Sony Vegas. It was nothing serious, just a hobby, and there the cutting shortcut was S. So that's the way it stuck to me, and I just kept using it. You can add whatever key you want here. Also, there's plenty more shortcuts that you can use. For example, if you go to the timeline and you play the video and you press L, it's gonna speed up twice. If you press L again, it's gonna speed up to 4x. That way, when you're cutting a video or you're doing something else that requires a little bit of a higher speed, it's gonna save a bunch of your time. The same way as, for example, setting in and out points with I and O, and all of the other keyboard shortcuts that you can find right here. But trust me, you're gonna have to stick to this. At first, it's gonna feel very weird. It actually perhaps might take a little bit more of your time at the beginning, but you have to force yourself to use them once you set them. For example, if you put S for your cutting, you're gonna have to use S each time, because if you don't, you're just not gonna get used to it. And once you're used to the shortcuts, your workflow is gonna be much faster. All right, proxies. Now, if you got heavy footage or you got a really shit PC or laptop and there's no way for you to edit in a decent environment without it lagging too much, or you're dealing with 4K plus footage, you might want to use proxies. I'm sure you've heard about what proxies are before, but if you haven't, I'm gonna show you quickly right here. So this video right here specifically is a 4K 25 FPS footage, and if I didn't have a good computer and I really couldn't handle it, I would make sure to use proxies, and I do sometimes. So how do I create a proxy? So when you open a new Premiere Pro project, you're just gonna see your raw video. None of this is gonna be present, okay? So you're gonna right click on that and you're gonna go here to proxy and you're gonna go create proxies. And now you're gonna see the frame size and all of these settings. These are my settings currently, so quarter, ProRes QuickTime proxy. I'm sure H.264 will do a great job too. For the watermark, I choose the proxy icon because then I can see when it's toggled on and when it's toggled off. And location, I set it to next to original media in a proxy folder, so the proxies will be located right next to your original raw files, which is good. And then you're gonna click OK. And now media encoder is gonna start opening, and now you're gonna see it here, and it's gonna automatically start rendering out, as you can see right right here. If it doesn't start automatically, you're gonna have a green button up here that you can click. So you're gonna click that and then it's gonna start. So after some time, once it's finally done, you can close this window. And now when we get back to the Premiere, right next to the video, you're gonna see this proxy status icon. Now we can see it's off. You can also see it here in the timeline. And to enable it, you're gonna click on it right here. Now when we go up here, we can see the status is on, so it's enabled. Now the proxy is on. You can edit the video, you can do whatever. And once you export the footage, once you're done, it will no longer be a proxy. It will be a completely normal video. But proxies are used when you are dealing with heavy files, when you're editing, so it's a little bit of a smaller size, a little bit easier to handle by your PC. But once it's exported, it's actually completely normal. And also one more cool thing mentioning with proxies, if you select in and out points like this, so I for endpoint and then O for out point, and you go up here to sequence, and you're gonna click on sequence render in and out. And now once it's done, instead of the yellow color, you're gonna see the green one right here, which means it's rendered. So now each time you play it, it's gonna play automatically and it's not gonna lag because you already rendered it. But each time you put something new inside, that new thing is gonna be unrendered. So you can repeat the same process if it starts lagging again. The third method, asset library. Now, what is an asset library? For example, look at the video above. That's me. Let's imagine I'm your client. And for that specific client, you want to have an asset library of all the things that you use for that specific client. Specifically, the things you use really common, so you don't have to make them from scratch each time or always search for them. Instead, you would open a completely new Premiere Pro project specifically made for that client only. And right there in the timeline, you would put the most commonly used transitions, sound effects, music, some animations perhaps that you always use, some zoom ins, whatever it is, just put it out there and organize it well. And that way, instead of each time creating it from scratch, you're gonna just get into that asset library and copy it to your newly video, and it's gonna be 10 times faster than if you would do it from scratch over and over again. So call it client name asset library. Now, the way I do it usually is, let's imagine this is a raw video from a client that he just gave you, and this is one of his previous videos. What I would do, for example, is open a previous video of him or a few of the previous videos, and I would just go in there and copy all the stuff like I'm copying from the asset library. I specifically don't use an asset library, but I use a few of the latest projects which I open when I'm editing a new video. And for example, I just copied a color work so I don't have to do it over and over again. And as you can see now, the color work looks exactly the same as in the previous video without me having to do it from scratch over and over again. The same way I would perhaps take a music or a sound effect or whatever it is that I'm commonly using, some kind of an adjustment layer with the zoom, whatever it is. This is the way I do it, but honestly, it's a bit better to have a completely new asset library folder or a timeline where you're gonna have all your client stuff, so you can open that folder each time and you can make your video much faster. Structure your workflow and keep your timeline organized. And what I exactly mean by have a structured workflow is, for example, when you import your raw footage like this and you have it in your timeline, have the same workflow for all the videos that you do, because that's the way you're gonna do it the fastest. Now, obviously, there's some videos where, for example, you put the music in first because you're basically doing the whole video off the beat. But usually when you're doing client videos, it's usually always the same thing. So have a workflow. For example, my workflow is I import the footage inside. First, I do the cuts, so I remove all the silences. You can do it through text and then go to transcript and then hit this icon, hit pauses and click on delete all. And you can make your own workflow, whatever you want, just follow it each time so you get consistent with it. Right after cutting, we're gonna make some After Effects animations that we've added on top. When we're done with animations, we can add a color to it. Right after that, we perhaps wanna do captions. After that, we're gonna add in music. And then after music, we're we're gonna do some sound effects. Now, all of this is just improvised. All of this is just a way to show you how someone that has a specific structure does each project. And this is gonna save you a lot of time. Instead of one time doing cuts first, then animations, then you do captions, then the next time you create After Effects first, then you do sound, then you do coloring. It doesn't, I mean, you could, but you should keep a structured plan. And another thing I wanted to mention, if you look at these two timelines that I'm showing you, you can notice one thing, and that is they're practically the same. That's what I was talking about when I was referring to organizing your timeline. So you want to organize it usually in the same way. This is not as important, but usually you will get used to the colors. For example, the adjustment layers, I like to keep this color. The zoom in and zoom outs, I like to keep in this teal color. The After Effects add-ons, I put in purple, and so on and so on. And that way you're gonna know what part is which, and you're gonna know what to do. And that way you're gonna find it much easier to navigate inside the timeline and know what you actually need to copy from one spot to another, you know, manipulate with certain layers inside the timeline much easier, and so on. And of course, in the end, equipment. I kept this for the last step as it's the hardest one. Obviously, everyone would want the best performing PC, laptop, whatever. That's why I left it as the last option. But after you've applied all of these previous options, they're gonna be of really, really big help to you. And you're gonna edit much faster if you really apply those. But after some time you've been into the game, you've earned some money, try not putting the money aside and locking it inside your bank thinking it's worth sitting there. Actually reinvest that money back into you so you can perhaps get a better computer, a better laptop, and by doing that you could actually end up editing twice as fast and earning twice more money just because you invested into a laptop or a computer. And that's it for this video. If you really try with these and actually absorb these tips I gave you, you're gonna edit at least twice as fast, if not 3 or 4 times. Let me know if you liked the video down below and also what you'd like me to cover next. Subscribe to the channel and I'll see you in some of the next videos.